Hey, 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 hey. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt stuck? I mean, I'm sure you have. That's a silly question. Really, what I should be saying is, have you ever? I don't know how that filter just got on. That's crazy. What I really should be saying is, have you ever... Oh, no. Stop, Kylie. Stop doing this. Okay, I'm being silly now. I am. Have you ever felt stuck? Better question. When did you last feel stuck? Okay, now enough of these silly filters. So that is our topic for today, and sorry for being distracted like that. I didn't put a filter on and it just came on, and then I had to play. You know how it is. I had to play. But this is a really intense topic. You got to agree. Feeling stuck is such a horrible feeling. Like it just... When we feel stuck, we think, first of all, we think we're the only one who's ever felt like that. Second of all, we think that, we think that there's no solution. Like, what actually happens is something goes on in the brain where it shuts down and your creative capabilities, boop, they vanish, they disappear. So when you feel stuck, it's kind of like a catch-22. It's the best way to get unstuck is to never get stuck. And the best way to get yourself out of being stuck is to just not be stuck in the first place. Because once you're there, getting unstuck feels impossible. But what I'm going to share with you today is 3 very cool methods that will help you get unstuck no matter what. They will unglue you. That kind of sounds wrong in a way, but that's, you know what I mean. They will unstick you. They will unstick you, and you won't have to sort of give up anything. You'll get more of what you want and less of what you don't want. That is what we're talking about here today. So hi there, I am Kylie Ansett, and I am the Alignment Whisperer. I help you get into alignment with your inner wisdom, because that's where all the answers are. And I'm coming to you from beautiful Sydney, Australia, and this is your daily dose of alignment. Hello and welcome. So feeling stuck is honestly a very horrible place to be. I mean, when we're there, we don't know how to get out of it. And when your brain's closed down in that way, you're not even open to hearing, the most well-meaning person can come along with the best piece of advice. And if you weren't stuck, you'd listen to that advice and you'd go, that's good advice. I agree with that. I'm all over that. But when you're stuck, you hear it and you go, they don't understand. They don't get me. They just don't understand where I'm at. So what you end up doing is you just go further and further and further away from what it is that you actually want, and you just feel more and more stuck. So I have got 3 really simple methods that maybe if you're stuck right now, I don't know, some of them might stick in your craw a little bit, but if you're not stuck, remember these methods. They're super easy, and then you can remind them to yourself. So the first one is to actually soften your self-talk. Now, what do I mean by that? Self-talk is, that voice that goes on in your head that says the negative things. Sometimes it's the voice of a critical parent that's kind of just been ingrained in our brains. Sometimes it is the voice of us at our most judgmental. Sometimes it is just like, when you're being your own worst enemy. So this is that self-talk that's not helping you. And if you tend to be very critical of yourself and you have higher expectations for yourself than you ever would for anyone else, and hello, who's guilty of doing that? Absolutely. It's just such a, I don't know what it is. We talk, the way we self-talk, we would never talk to anyone else like that. Imagine some of the things that you say to yourself Now, I have to admit, I used to be really bad with this, but since I became aware of it and started noticing how I spoke to myself, not all the time, but definitely in those stuck times, then, a really good thing to do is imagine, would you speak to your friend like this? Would you speak to anyone like this, like a stranger, even your worst enemy? Sometimes you wouldn't even say those things. So just have a think about this. Now, softening your self-talk is really easy, because if you've been speaking like that for a long time, it can be difficult to just suddenly stop dead, and then there's like silence. There's no talking going on at all. But what I'm suggesting you do is you soften it. Now, that sounds like this. Okay, a lot of the time when we do this self-talk, we use very strong emotive words, like, for example, oh, I'm always doing this. Okay, always is the emotive word. You see how strong and unforgiving it is? How come I can never get this right? Never. Very strong word. This always happens to me. It's the worst thing. And, we use these really strong kind of, what can I say, like dead end words. There's no coming back from them. Like always, if you always get this wrong, where can you go from there? It's always. So all you need to do is soften that word, that, I'm going to get this wrong, but it's like the adverb. I think it is. It may be. Anyway, it's something like that. It's the word that is describing what it is. So I think that's the adverb. So instead of saying, I always get this wrong, if saying to yourself, I'm going to get this right, if you're not in that place, if you're stuck, it's hard to kind of give yourself the Tony Robbins rah-rah motivation talk. You're not in that place. So just soften it. Just say, like, occasionally I get this wrong. Sometimes it doesn't go the way I want it to. Now, if you start using those softer words, like occasionally, like sometimes, like maybe, like it could be, it's actually really easy to go from those soft words of kind of slightly negative to slightly positive, softer words. So going from, say, I always get it wrong, go from that to I sometimes get it wrong. And then it's a really short trip to sometimes I get it right. And you can't disagree with that if you say that to yourself, because sometimes you do get it right. And now suddenly you have loosened that that glue, that super glue that was sticking you down in that stuck place. You've loosened it. That's the solvent. That's the magic solvent that starts to loosen that super glue. And now you're starting to use these softer words, and you're starting to feel like there are possibilities. Maybe I could go forward. Maybe see what I'm saying? So soften your self-talk. That's the first one. Very, very powerful technique. Easy to do, and not a big stretch. And even if you're in that place of being stuck, definitely possible. Okay, another one, next method that I really love is to focus on your feelings. Now, this is really good, especially when you have a goal or a specific thing that you want, a desired outcome. What we tend to do is when we have something that we want and we're not getting it, we're focusing on the lack of it. We're focusing on the fact that we don't have it. And that generates a feeling of lack. Just the awareness of the existence of this thing that we want, that we don't have, generates immediately in us a feeling of lack, and that keeps us in a stuck place. So if you focus on your feelings instead of focusing on the thing, very powerful, great little mind hack, this one. Focus on your feelings instead of on the thing. Now what you can do is, if you immediately notice, well, I am feeling lack, I'm feeling useless, or I'm feeling like I'm unworthy because I haven't achieved it, or like whatever it is, whatever the feeling is, what you then do is shift that to focus on it's going to feel like when you get it. Now, this can be a little bit of a leap, but if you've done any kind of mind work, you will find that it's not that difficult. So the point is, you want this thing, whatever it is you want it because you think you're going to feel happier in the having of it. Whether it's a good relationship, whether it's losing weight, and whether it's having, money in the bank. They're the typical things that people want, right? We want them because we think we're going to feel better in the having of them. Now, if instead of focusing on and generating the feeling of not having them, I want this thing but I don't have it, we focus on what it would feel like to have it. Okay, now just stay with me. Focusing on what it would feel like to have it. Now, clearly at some point you focused on that, all right? Because otherwise you wouldn't even want it. Like at some point you thought, I want that body, I want that relationship, I want that much money. And you wanted it because of the feeling that you knew the having of it would give you. Focus on that. Focus on that. Focus on that. Just keep that being your attention. Now, this is going to do two things. It's magic. This is a little, it's not a brain hack. This is actually a, reality hack. Oh my gosh, a reality hack. This is a reality hack and it's really cool. So first of all, it's going to do two things. First of all, when you focus on what it feels like to have it, well, in your brain, it feels the same as having it. Like there is no difference between feeling like you have it and having it to your brain, because there is only this one moment. And so the feeling of having it, and if you get good at this, if you get good at generating those feel good, this is what it's going to feel like to have that body. This is what it's going to feel like to have this relationship. This is what it's going to feel like to have that much money. This is what it's going to feel like. And you focus on the feeling, not the thing. And then you walk around generating that feeling at all times, and you can use other objects to kind of spark it in you. Like let's say it's relationship. You can see two people holding hands, or whatever it is that the relationship might represent to you. If it was, say, a romantic relationship, two people kind of in a being very loving towards each other. And now, if you are practicing the habit of lack, what you'll do is when you see that, you'll go, oh, that's not fair, I don't have that. Whereas if you do the opposite and you focus on the desired outcome, when you see something like that, that can be a trigger to generate more of that feeling in you. Your brain doesn't know the difference. Remember, your brain doesn't know the difference. So in your like the hormones and chemistry that's going on in your body, it's exactly the same as though you actually had it. And the same with the money. Like say you see someone who's displaying a lot of wealth, and that's what you desire. Now, a lot of the time what we do when we see that is we have a reaction to it where we have this, I guess jealousy, maybe, whatever it is, and we kind of put them down, or we think whatever it is that we think about it. All that's doing is bringing up that feeling in yourself. You know that saying, if you, any feeling you generate, you have yourself first. So that's the chemistry that's going on. Whereas if you see someone displaying wealth, you just think, oh, love that. That's great. That's what I want. And you generate that feeling in yourself, then you're going to feel the feeling of having it. The second thing you're going to do is law of attraction. Anything that you bring up, anything that you think about, you bring about, any vibration that you stay with long enough, especially if you stay with it powerfully and you generate a lot of emotion around it, guess what? It's going to show up in your reality. So, and that's what you actually want. You want the actual thing. So double whammy there. Just a brilliant one. You can't go wrong with that. Practice it. At first, it's going to feel a little bit weird, but once you start doing it, it just feels fun. And all you do is you just walk around having fun. And it's like you might see an ant on the ground, and that will instigate the feeling of abundance for you. It can do that. It can. Now, people might think you're crazy, but it doesn't matter because you're happy. Because you're in that state of abundance and you're in that state of wealth and well-being. So that's all that kind of really matters. Now, the last one that we're going to talk about is trusting your intuition. You see, when you're feeling stuck, one of the things that we often have is this feeling of indecision. Should I or shouldn't I? Should I take that job? Should I break up this relationship? Should I move to this place? Should I stop doing the thing? Should I start doing the thing? Should I buy this? Whatever it is. If you're feeling stuck, then indecision is like, that's your best friend. That's what you're bringing up around yourself. And it's a horrible feeling. So it's not your best friend, it's your worst friend. It's a horrible feeling, that feeling of indecision, right? So here's the thing. Indecision is something to be aware of and then move away from. And the way that you do that is certainly by being aware of it. But second of all, you have got a perfect decision maker within you, but you have to tap into it. That perfect decision maker is your inner wisdom, also known as your intuition, also known as your instinct, sort of. The point is that you have the answers within you. Now, when you heard in the introduction to this video, I call myself the alignment whisperer. I say that my purpose is to connect you with that inner wisdom. I have lived my life from a place of intuition for a long time, and I tell you, the best decisions I have made have been ones that made no sense whatsoever, but intuitively they felt right. And it's just amazing. I think, wow, I cannot believe how that panned out. And yet I'll give you a good example, one that just happened the other day. So I have, some of you may know, I've just completed this incredible coaching course. Now, I've already trained as a coach. I've already completed training and done many, many hours of coaching. So it's not like I was thinking I needed to do coaching, but I saw this thing. I think it was just a Facebook ad or something like that. And I went, And the feeling was, my intuition said, do it. So I did it. Now, when I went along and did it, there were people there who had been researching coaching and had, they'd sort of narrowed it down to these, and this is why they were there. Now, as it turned out, and it was quite a big investment financially and time-wise as well. Like I remember thinking the last day was the day before yesterday, and I was sitting there thinking, I cannot believe I'm here. This is like, if I had have written down the exact things that I wanted, it couldn't have been more perfect. Like everything, the stuff that I was learning were the exact missing pieces to what I already had. They were that I didn't even know were missing, right? I wasn't aware of their missing, which is so often the case. Now, that all came about from following intuition, because I did not do any research. I didn't even know who the company was. I didn't know if they were good, bad, or indifferent. I just went, that intuition is telling me to go there. Now, by the way, if you are interested in intuition, you need to come along to the Addicted to Alignment group, because every day I'm going live in there, and what I'm doing is a message to me from me, little intuition interpretation. That's a mouthful. I'm doing it every day, and basically if you get on there at the same time as me, you can ask your questions live about how to interpret your intuition. So for example, you might see something, you might have dreamt about something, you might have a strong feeling about something, and what we do is we break it down and we bring the intuition, and it's absolutely mind-blowing, because it's not always what's obvious. So trusting your intuition. If you trust your intuition, you'll never be stuck in indecision again. You have to give up being perfect. You have to give up thinking, well, hang on, the closest distance between A and B is like a straight line, and I want to get from A to B, but my intuition is telling me to go that way, and I think I should be going that way. So sometimes it looks like an imperfect or illogical decision, and those are actually the best ones, because what you come across in that long path, what is it, the road less traveled, what you do there, yeah, it's that poem. Oh my God, it is. The road less traveled is all about trusting your intuition. do you know that poem by Robert Frost? It is my favorite poem. And I took the road less traveled, and that has made all the difference. And that's the thing. It makes all the difference because when you go down that path that is the intuition path, it's still going to get you to B, right? You're at A, but you're going to go all the way around there. And what you're going to do is when you get to B, the experience that you've had is going to make it like it's going to be so much better. It's not so much better but just like transformationally better. It's just going to be 1,000,000 times better that you never could have guessed if you had just gone the logical, I'm going in a direct line from A to B. So, okay, that is 3 ways to get unstuck if you're feeling stuck. Now, 2 things to tell you because this is actually 3. First of all, I already told you about the intuition over in Addicted to Alignment, which is the group. Just go and join it. Come along there and ask it's like a card reading, but it's your intuition we're reading, not your card. And we do that every day. That's first. Second of all, the fluidity of money is a training that I'm going to be starting next week. Now, I thought I was going to do it this week, but to be honest, I had so much information going into my brain last week that I kind of need a little bit of space just to let that settle in. So that is going to be starting. Again, it's in the group. It's a free training, but I'll be taking it out of the group and making it into a paid training afterwards. So if you're interested in getting that fluidity of money, it's all about money mindset and how to use your intuition, your inner wisdom to access your desire for abundance. That sounded pretty good. Okay, so there's that. And third thing, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, well, like I have just got so many tools in my tool belt now, but I am opening up some spaces to work one-on-one with people, and that is basically where we get on the phone and we have powerful conversations that help you get unstuck. Now, some of the methods I've spoken about today, yes, but I have also learned some very powerful techniques and using those along with the coaching that taps into your intuition. So coaching is all about helping you to access your inner wisdom so that you can move where you want to, get what you want to, get the desired results that you really, really want to. So if you would like that, then message me, contact me some way or another. There's lots of different ways to get in contact with me, and let's see if it would be something that would work. It has to work for both of us. I only work with people that I feel that we have that connection. There has to be a certain level of connection for me to be able to help you and for you to be able to get the most out of what you want from the experience. So I would be really excited to share that with you. And if it sounds like even a little bit interesting, just message me and, we can have a chat and see if this is the right thing for you and for me. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for playing with me in the Alignment Sandbox. Have an awesome day, an awesome evening, an awesome afternoon, an awesome night, wherever you are. Just be awesome. I know, you already are. All right, I will speak to you tomorrow. Bye.